A man owned a miraculous cabinet. Once inside, the time flow rate would speed up by tens of thousands of times. He could stay in the cabinet for 10 days while only 1 minute passed in the real world. Watching the rapidly moving hands of the clock, he immediately came up with a bold idea. He moved all his study materials into the cabinet to study, and easily outperformed everyone else by taking advantage of the time difference. He also considered himself the ultimate master of time management. However, what he didn't know was that every time he entered the cabinet, his body would age at an accelerated pace simultaneously. Each time he came out of the cabinet, his once tender skin would become a bit more aged. But with the help of this cabinet, he quickly obtained the junior lawyer certificate that he had failed to pass for several years. He even boasted to the interviewer that it wouldn't be long before his name would appear on the company's signboard. In just 4 years, he leaped from a junior lawyer to a senior lawyer. His name was indeed hung on the company's signboard. His promotion speed set a company record, and he became a sought-after famous lawyer in the industry. Countless wealthy people vied to hire him, but only he knew that at the age of just over 20, he already had white hair and looked much older than his peers. Another 5 years passed. At the age of 30, his physical functions were no different from those of a 60-year-old man. A simple exercise almost caused him to sprain his waist, and he could barely endure it when a colleague gently patted him on the shoulder. The doctor's examination results worried his wife greatly, and she advised him not to push himself so hard. He also made up his mind not to touch that cabinet again, but after losing the advantage of time acceleration, he simply couldn't keep up with the high-intensity work rhythm. Clients were successively poached by his colleague Edmund. Overwhelmed by intense jealousy, he had evil thoughts again. He walked into the cabinet again with thick study materials. But after finishing all his studies, he found that the key had fallen outside the cabinet. He desperately pounded on the door and called out to his young son, who came over. However, the time flow rates in the two spaces were worlds apart. In his eyes, his son's movements seemed to be frozen. In the end, when his son finally picked up the key and opened the cabinet door, all he saw was that his father in the cabinet had long since turned into a pile of white bones.